The Huawei Nova 3. When I saw this phone online, I got pretty excited. It looks really good. But before we talk about this phone, I want to talk about the P20 Pro for a second. The P20 Pro is a fantastic phone. I loved using it. The display is amazing. The build is amazing. The camera is amazing. But if there's one thing we can all agree on, is that chin needs to go. So when I unboxed the Nova 3, I got really happy because they finally removed the chin. Again, the P20 Pro is a fantastic device, but as far as I'm concerned, this is the first truly bezel-less phone from Huawei. Okay, so what is this phone? What is Nova 3? And why should you care? The Nova 3 is a new high-end phone that cuts some of the cost from the P20 Pro. I guess the best way to describe this phone is, let's say you want to buy the P20 Pro. You like the specs, you like the camera, you like the display, you like everything. But when you go and see the price, it turns out it's a little bit too expensive. This is where this phone comes in. The Nova 3 is just as high-end as the P20 Pro. It has the same high build quality, the back is made of glass, the sides are made of metal, the bezels are thinner than ever, and there's a notch. I have the black version, but you can also get it in blue, purple or gold. I really like how this phone looks. It feels classy and premium. And I really like holding it. Let's talk about the display. The P20 Pro had an awesome panel, and this phone continues the trend. The display is fantastic. It's a 1080p LCD panel, and the colors look really fantastic. You can see my setup here looks crisp, and because the bezels are so tiny, I think the front panel of this phone ends up looking better than the P20 Pro. The next thing I want to talk about is performance. This phone is packing a Kirin 970, which is the highest end processor from Huawei. You know, the Mate 10, Mate 10 Pro, P20, P20 Pro, all of those phones had this processor. And since I've used all those devices, I'm very familiar with this processor. When I used it in the P20 Pro, I really liked it. There wasn't much lag and everything was smooth. I was expecting similar performance on this phone. But to my surprise, this phone feels a little bit faster and smoother than the P20 Pro. Maybe it's because of the updated skin, or maybe it's better optimization. I'm not sure what it is, but I just know that this phone feels noticeably smoother than the previous Huawei phones. Okay, so we talked about the display being great, the performance being great, the build quality being great. There's no compromise in these things. So where is the compromise? Why is this phone cheaper than the P20 Pro? Well, to bring the price down, obviously they had to cut some stuff. And this is why this phone doesn't have an IP67 rating and it doesn't have Leica optics. So you don't get the water resistance or the awesome camera from the P20 Pro. So where the P20 Pro was comparable to the iPhone and the S9, this phone, the Nova 3, is more comparable to the OnePlus 6 or the Xiaomi Mi 8. You know, phones that are high-end but they are not as expensive as other flagship phones. Let's talk about the camera for a bit. Even though this phone doesn't have Leica optics from the P20 Pro, it's still a dual camera setup with a 16 megapixel primary lens and a 24 megapixel monochrome lens. There's also a 24 megapixel front camera with a 2 megapixel depth sensor. I can't really say much about the quality since I haven't used the camera a lot, but this phone does have the AI features from the P20 Pro. And without going much into detail, I'd say that even though it's not the most awesome best ever camera like the P20 Pro, it's still a pretty solid camera which is capable of taking some really great shots. I guess that's about it, guys. These are my first impressions of this phone, and of course we will go much more in depth about the display, the battery, the camera and everything else. Right now, suffice to say, I'm really enjoying this phone and I'm excited about the full review. Thank you for watching, guys. If you like this video, then please subscribe, please press the thumbs up icon, and if you are watching on Facebook, then please tag your friends. You know those posts where it says that if your friend's name starts with an M, he has to buy you something? Well, if your friend's name starts from any letters from A to Z, well then I guess they have to buy you this phone. I don't know if this is still a thing, but this is just a shameless ploy to get some more views. So please help me in this regard, and thank you for watching. Peace.